Welcome to The Know. I'm Ashley Jenkins.
I'm Mica Burton.
Is Scalebound actually back from the dead?
Huh.
Well, I mean, maybe not, but we're actually starting to hear some rumblings that the canceled dinosaur game for the Xbox One might not be as extinct as we thought. Dragons are kind of related to dinosaurs.
Kind of. Yeah, it works. So why do we say this? Well, 2 bits of info recently leaked that might confirm that the project isn't quite dead. Just, mostly dead.
All the way dead. There's only one thing you can do. Go through their pockets and look for loose change.
Oh my goodness, that's the actual way of living life. At this point though, it's still very much a rumor and should be treated as such. You might remember Scalebound was the open world RPG action game that was a much anticipated exclusive for the Xbox One. At least until Microsoft pulled the plug earlier this year and all of those sad dragons died.
So sad.
So sad. And its cancellation added to growing criticism that the Xbox One was running dangerously low on exclusives.
Okay, so here's what's being said about a possible Scalebound rebirth. Earlier today, someone posted on NeoGAF proof that Microsoft had renewed the trademark for Scalebound, which is an interesting indication. It could be nothing, or it could mean that Microsoft hasn't yet given up on the IP and they still want to protect it. Usually you don't renew a trademark you have no intention of using.
Meanwhile, a self-proclaimed video games industry insider named X-Ray's Insider tweeted that Microsoft is thinking about taking another shot at the game, this time with a different developer and probably from the ground up. X-Ray's Insider, who appears to be an Italian gamer who blogs about Xbox news, doesn't seem to have much of a track record for leaks, which makes us question this information. But he or she claims to have a source who says that Microsoft is talking with a friendly dev to build the game.
I'm sorry, was Platinum not friendly enough?
No. This one gives you cookies when you come into work. Yeah, very friendly. X-Ray's Insider went on to say, "I'm not saying Scalebound will come back. It's just a little step. And the IP for Scalebound, according to the leaker, is owned by Microsoft, not Platinum Games."
So if this is true, and at this point we are skeptical, I don't know about you guys, I would rather not get my hopes all the way up, but I would like it to be true. But if it is true, it would mean that Microsoft is trying pretty hard to get back in the exclusive race. Scalebound was, after all, very highly anticipated, and its cancellation was a sign to many that the Xbox was falling even further behind the PlayStation 4, which has frankly been tearing it up this year in terms of exclusives with games like Horizon Zero Dawn and Persona 5, my personal favorite.
So let's give a little bit of background on Scalebound and why this news could be big if it's true. The action game was being developed by Platinum Games for the Xbox One as well as the PC and would have been a much needed exclusive for the console.
Now, from what we've seen in clips, the open world RPG game looks like a little bit of a cross between something like The Last Guardian and something like Monster Hunter. Like in Monster Hunter, players would be able to use a variety of weapons to take on giant boss monsters. They could also issue commands to their pet dragon. That's where The Last Guardian kind of part comes in, and the dragon would assist in battle.
Scalebound was first announced during Xbox E3 press conference in 2014 and subsequently made many most anticipated lists in following years. It was also the first action RPG for Platinum, which gained fame for games like Bayonetta.
The game was being directed by Hideki Kamiya, who also directed Bayonetta, and it's reportedly been a pet project of his since Platinum was founded in 2006, something that he really wanted to do. Kamiya said he wanted to make a game where dragons weren't depicted as enemies, but as companions.
Don't we all?
I mean, isn't that called Drakengard?
In June of last year, Platinum showed off co-op gameplay footage at E3, and that footage featured a massive boss fight featuring a co-op battle against an enemy crab.
Very historical.
Yeah, and while time continued to pass without much more info, gamers continued to look forward to Scalebound even as it languished in development limbo.
But earlier this year, word started to leak out about development woes, and a report from Eurogamer said that the relationship between Microsoft and Platinum had soured. Several senior members of the development team last fall were forced to take a month away from the pressure of the project's heavy workload, Eurogamer reported. They later returned, but by that point, Scalebound was behind schedule and the decision was ultimately made to cancel the project.
Finally, in January, word came down from Microsoft that the game was done. Xbox Phil Spencer himself called it a difficult decision.
Now, it should be noted that most other gaming sites also don't believe that Scalebound is necessarily back in development. IGN wrote that the trademark renewal could mean that Microsoft just wants to reserve the rights to possibly start a new project in the future under that name, or it's just protecting the trademark from anyone else who wants to do so to try and trade on the fact that people recognize that name in order to sell their title. IGN contacted Microsoft for comment, but so far, no response.
Meanwhile, Jez Corden of Windows Central flatly shot down the rumor. Corden wrote, I can confirm via our own sources, however, that Scalebound is not in development by Microsoft or a trusted team, as stated in the report. Nothing to see here, folks.
So after Kdin's report, seemed like X-Ray's insider backed down just a little bit from his initial tweet, which said that development is resumed. Hours later, he seemed to walk that back, saying that Microsoft is just talking with a friendly dev to possibly build the game. So yeah, that's not nearly as strong a statement.
No, but who knows? Maybe there's a little smoke there, maybe not.
I mean, at the very least, there's wishful smoke.
Wishful smoke.
Although, you know what? I say that, I'm not actually sure it's all that wishful. Part of the charm, part of what was so cool about Scalebound was the idea of Platinum developing it. If they're out, I don't know that I necessarily want to see what it would look like from another developer.
True, we'll just have to see how it shakes out. But if Scalebound does return from the dead, it would be a possible happy ending for a game that seemingly died in development hell. Lord knows the Xbox One could use it.
Yeah, they got Crackdown 3 coming out.
Yeah!
What do you think of this rumor that Scalebound could be back? Do you believe it? Would you want a Scalebound title if it was made by someone that's not Platinum? Let us know in the comments.
And for all your news on which games might arise phoenix-like from the ashes of development limbo, be sure to like this video and also subscribe to the know.